We'll say the prayer on page number 10. In English, on page number 11, I take refuge in the Guru, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. From now until my enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, for the benefit of all sentient beings. All sentient beings enjoy happiness and causes. May all sentient beings free from suffering and causes. May all sentient beings never be separated from joyful bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, feel bias, attachment, and anger. This ground anointed with perfume, flowers, Mount Meru. May all living beings enjoy the pure land. Guru Rana Mendala Kame Yadaya Injinara Injinara. Please go to page number 15, Foundation's prayer. Foundation prayer, we will chant in English and we'll chant slowly. And the reasons we chant it slowly so as to understand the meaning and analyze the meaning as well. So we'll chant this very slowly.
Foundation prayer, topic 15. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and venerable Guru.
Correctly devoting to him is the root of the path.
By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely on him with great respect. Understanding precious freedom of this free group is found only once. It is greatly meaningful and difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind unceasing, day and night, existence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays when death comes. After death, the effects of black and white karma pursue us as a shadow follows the body. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativities, and to accomplish all virtuous deeds. Seeking the pleasures of samsara leads to all suffering. They are certain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate the strong wish and bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping Patimokkha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Having seen that all beings, like kind mothers, have fallen, like myself, into the ocean of samsara, may I train in supreme bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing all migratory beings. If I develop bodhicitta without practicing the 3 types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. By pacifying distractions from wrong objects and correctly analyzing the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the path uniting calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway, the ones, the Vajrayana, the highest of vehicles, the basis of accomplishing the 2 attainments,
is keeping pure vows and commitments, having become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges of my life. Having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. May the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, may I never be separated from the perfect Gurus and the magnificent Dharma. By repeating qualities of the stages in the past, may I quickly attain the state of Vajrayana.
아니 다 결정으로도 배춘 로다 망쳐 맞잖아 지지만 샹도 지지만 정말 지름 붙이게 송샤다 그래서 지름 붙이 그런 총총 이제 배때 오늘 지득당나 네 깜빡이 하살배네 유신 여름 발라된 칠릭 그림이 얘는 된지는 타마 다 상치바 총네 농어니가 용수바 시즌자 배양 시즈니 근데 그런 거 샘당 용환로 소라도 통규도 청청마다 모는 여기다 남는 잠저겨 더 치사비 남는 치모네 강력 치모라서 보트 좀 기울지 다 총상하고 연대 이질만해서 남는 모는서 주주주 때려 아주 전부다 와가 뭐 주주주 때 됐지 지선적인 또 관련된 나와서 저 지고르지
Good morning, everyone. So the chanting we just chanted. These are all taught by the great master Tsongkhapa, and the Tsongkhapa is one of the well-known the master who studied at a very young age, at the age of 16, in Lhasa, the capital of Tibet, Lhasa, and he take different kinds of the master, as well as the different kinds of school, or the different kinds of schools, or the monastic or the religions, and and also he is through this practice he's able to see the Manjushri directly, and so he composed the many the great teachings or the books. Some are the vast vast volumes of the chapters of the books, but some of the small the book like Lamrim and so forth. And so actually we're not going through, or we're not reading the some of the books which is which has a lot of chapter and many pages, but we going through the one of the simple, or the the less the pages which are the Lamrim and so forth. So that's why, and we often this chant and discuss about the Lamrim.
결정 지를 보시고 장화 보종 지원서 사자 냥마까지 참만 지어르지 되나 막쇼고 참마 까지 냥마라 되도 파데 양을 반듯달라 콩트 그때 마 제요르 양을 접도도 아니 노쇼고 망쇼 사자 단다데 조지 아드시게 소 가담바 지송 조지 아드샬라 특히 남는 걸 남기는 반도 자동 뜻이네. 아니 양을 반듯다. 또 받는 나와라고 당다. 저 시험 시와라 시험도 됐잖아. 나는 다 그러다 콘트 쭉 샷다 그래다 그러지.
도쇼들아.
난 동안이가 계속 나는 잘 콘트 어디 너네. 무슨도 좀 공마 되게 양을 좀 된데 그 남기는 받다. 가지던 양만의 마음을 요르지. 근데 지금 노쇼고 정말다 사기야 동동도 그게 느끼는 거죠. 조지 아들 시작이 있으면 남지도마 지정이 남는 못 봐. 말이지.
Now, actually, the Tsongkhapa, he took the as a master, or the as a the school for the learning center in many the universities, such as the University of Sakya, Kaju, and Nyingmas. And most of the tantric the practice which he take from the Kaju and Nyingma tradition, and as well as the great the Indians, the masters, great Indian yogi or the masters. And for um, the Sutrayana traditions, he took from the Sakya traditions, as well as the all the Nalindas, the masters,
조지 아들 샷고.
and especially Adisha.
일단 남는 제목도 조지가 남는 싸워지는 마송.
And so from the Adisha, the based on the root the teaching of the Lamduns, the path of the lamp, he gave the Lamdun's teachings.
이든 방법 셰즈 통화. 다 근데 일단 깔리 방법 3년 받던 로 방법 깔리 잡는 도고나 만들 거 사사들 오브젝트에 방법 요르다. 그때 장화지. 소중지 하시고 티승고 주고 말. 소설을 장수만 요르지.
And also when we read and the Tsongkhapa story, the story of Tsongkhapa, not only he went through the intense the practice of listening, contemplations, and meditations, but also he he went through the very hardship or work of the physically the doing prostrations, and also offering numbers of the mandala, that's the mandala offering. And not only that, he is the one who directly able to see and receiving blessing from the Yidam.
어떤 저당 알아서 질 낭비치 장비지에서 질을 소리지가 지금 주주 돈도 때리지요 말이죠. 정말 선지 좀 된데 있으면 직바인 맞지. 선지 좀 된데 있으면 좀 그러니까 아주 낭바스 때 다왔다 키네네. 어 도마도 카시야 지질 좀 소수 지질 그 세터 바kan스 때 신고지네. 나전로지네. 때라 안에 지금 오늘은 팀 내리는로 지질 정말 도중마 지네 송라 탈게 송나 농은 이거 때마도 그 나와서 뭐 한지나 요 말했어. 도전지 정말 다 직발이다 그랬어. 근데 때 직발 뭐 하면 거지. 소소소 라면 샬렌 라면 때스 만드는 샤모건 통도 두루지 통도 된들라 지내 신고 진때 견치가 통합니다 정말나.
So the reason they give you the short story of the Tsongkhapa, and through the learning and hearing and the reading of the history of Tsongkhapa, he never showed bias, meaning he took the teachers and different kinds of teachers and the school, and no matter what lineage or traditions are, he tried to receive the essence knowledge and the teaching as much as he can. So that's why us as a practitioner, as a Buddhist practitioner, we should not like look and make differentiate between the school or lineage and religions and so on and so forth. And because when you look at the all the traditions or the lineage of the Tibetan Buddhists, especially Tibetan Buddhists, and of course they are Sakya, Nyingma, Kagyu, and Gelug as well, and they are all when we look at the root of all the teachings as they are all same is a Buddhist teachings or the teaching that came from the Buddha, and whether it's the viewpoints or the teaching or the so on and so forth. And but sometimes due to the ignorance or the lack of knowledge and the understanding and the small-minded and or narrow-minded, we distinguish that this is my school or traditions, and we neglect and criticize other, and we shouldn't do that because again, all the teachings, if we combine or they came from the the training of the minds or the Sutayana and Tantrayana, and so that's very important. So we have to know, and again, because due to the ignorance or sometimes we biasly, we kind of like we saying this is my lama, this is my lineage, because of the some of the lineage they have a different way to wearing robes, clothes, and the hat and the colors and so on and so forth. We think, oh, we are different because my lama and my lineage are had way of wearing hat are this, and the clothes or robes are this and that. So we kind of differentiate, and we shouldn't do that.
야, 다 같은 것들이 막 홍보된 나는 거는 다 실수도 많이 같은 것만 일로 살아. 대한 때 싶어.
Okay, so let's discuss our the Lamrim prayer. And if you go to on page number 80, we discussed last week first and the second verse. But let me go through real quick and what we have discussed previously.
넌 이런 뜻밖에 손이 있는 카드를 영화 공식 썩봤대. 너무 마르기 동로와근 남들이 용어 더지 지우지네. 다 지름 뭐지 공급에 관리 잡지네. 토론 더는 정도 이런 거 좀 배받지네. 소소 주바정화가 손이 딘저즈 남들 때 가르즈 판독지 그러잖아. 수정을 이용했는데 카드를 영화 공식 썩봐야 되네. 남그 카드냐 무슨 탐지기 돈들 소소도 정정화 르바정 지네. 디 니와트 로무 마르기 돈도 와서 로 마르바 마시 넘비 드비다원 거 도도 탐지기 로트바 세지네. 닐링모 마지 또트와 제트다 남들이요. 어제지 저 토용 좀 마르기 만바 탐지 세용나 가르요 정하고 시지 섬지 탐지기라 성지기 니와가 성지기 니와요 로트 난다 내고지 좀이 봐 갑종의 맛도 섬지랑은 어서와요 섬지랑 어서와 동원도 기록도 진짜 성지기 공부도 하고 성지기 공부하는 자와요 자 남들이 공부도 하기 있어서 섬지 탐지기라 머시면 받 세진이 양진의 성지기 공부 토벌 쇼지 세로 던지스다 그선 뭔 동부도
The very the first verse of the Lamrim is just one of the wish or the aspirations for the sake of all sentient beings, and for Uh, um, the so the for Tsongkhapa himself, uh, since beginning of his practice till now, he for a long period of time, he been accumulating the two merits, and the very accumulations of the merit, or the very result or the fruitions of the two merits, is the sake of all sentient beings. They made it be benefit the vast the space of the sentient beings, and the sentient beings who are doomed by the ignorance, or their mind doomed by the ignorance, and may they be free from the ignorance and see the nature of reality, or achieve the nature of reality, or see the natural reality. And because all of us, we all have a seed of the Buddha, a seed of the Buddha, and our very nature of the mind is clear light. But because of the due to the ignorance and defilements and so forth, we temporarily being doomed by, and which create tremendous problems in our life. But once we able to purify this all the ignorance and obscurations, then we can able to achieve the Buddhahood. And meaning once it's there, it's not manifested yet, and the seed is there, it's not manifest yet, and once we purify it, it will manifest, and that very seed of the Buddha, or the clear the light of clear light of the mind, and when it manifests, it will manifest it into the Buddha. And so they say, let me read the first verse. By the knowledge and the wisdom, vast as space, grant, gain with effort over time, may I become the Buddha for those whose minds are blinded by ignorance.
대체당 당본데 다 질부시 그런 거 뭐는 겨 나서 말도 내가 간다 간서는 심 파벌 시속을까 소당대와 옆에네 반강래 도다래 메몽당대와 내가 있었더라 근데 그런 게 있나베 나는 내가 지 링을 있은 거 갈리게 되어도 어떤 뭐 섬지 탐지가 내 강은 등을 탐지 세트를 소치 소소 우치고 돈도 많이 소소 우다 쇼라고 하는 거 대 섬당에나 랍칭 섬도 찾아버려서 나도 직동 미기마게 나라데 비주얼이지
So this is the kind of that what Tsongkhapa did at the very beginning of the composing this book, and this is the great example that as individuals, the practitioners, or whether you are a practitioner or great service for the community, and we always have a good intentions, or the good begin our the activities with the good intentions, or begin by the great wish or aspirations. For example, make sure we make the great aspirations or the prayer, and the when whatever we do, whether it is serving for community, hospital, school, and any kind of organizations, or any kind of the group of people, when we serve others, the you we should make aspiration like Tsongkhapa, that very seed, the very accumulation that I gain, may this the accumulation, the seed of accumulations, nourish, or the benefit for the sake of all sentient beings, fulfill their wish, and free from the problems and the difficulties. And of course, when we do service work, and toward others, of course we lose money or the wealth. But money and the wealth, when we lose, we can also gain. We can also earn it. And so there's no problem if you lose the money. Don't worry, just we can earn it whenever we can.
다 때마 손비 새롭근데 영 잠배양 지위 지송 때 담비름 bakın 남기 총 얘네들 비 연남이 수쇼 세는 담 레와즈다 그거 뭐 저거 그러지 들 마순비 단다 마동 마용 마용 용진비 새롭 탐지 새롭근데 네 개와니 개와 탐지들 아니 잠배양기 잠배양 지송 지금 잠배양 그 지송 잠배양 세트 새롭게 다루와 직당 안에 가도 잡기 잡내기 잡슨 로인 잡야 잡스노나 제킵 단계 kim이요는 제킵 세던 거랑 소소런 일로 셰럽들이 제킵 세던 거랑 좋다 다 잡배양을 담배 다 그런 셰럽 원도 좀 질선 비강서 니선 비니다 르바 담배 요는 뜻저 담배 그라 제킵 세고 다 소소런 얘기 길로 셰럽들 제킵 세고 소소런 얘기 셰럽도야 이제는 이유신이 파주고 인도 연들라 때는 소소 지주 셰럽도 공부했다 당네 오늘 잠배 지위 지송 때는 뜻이네 루파드 무슨 소바요나 대 샴바동 지위고니 지스종이고니 담비는 bakınca 남기 초오즈네 소소랑이 라이나 남기는 바데 상기지 남기는 바 마노로와 지네 일라 기타와지 소소랑이 파템 바이나라 셰럽 일라기니 심치라 남기는 바데 마노로와 덴타와지 덴드고 몰음 야고 니네 드비견 예수스 덴드 톱니 덴드 톱니다 드비견 예수스 드바서 TV 돈도 삼비돈도 곰지는 곰도 드바지고 드비치는 때 소소기라 냠스 용하지 용하다 소소랑이라 냠스 용 잼발라 용 데르타바지 맞지 용 쇼치르세 드르시피나 돈도디라 얘는 예시시세 덴디지는 야와 성지 탐질 특이우 용거래 세트다
So the second verse is the aspirations as well as the wish or the hope, and uh, uh, the monk painting color mount by the 세럽네 봐.
마음이 개와니 개와 탐짓듯이 새로 탐짓듯이 근데 단자명 지지스니 잠병 로제르스 잠병 세대 이용을 넘기는
So here the wish and the aspirations for now and also in the futures the numbers of the life or life after life may I able to may I able to make connections or the rely or the take refuge toward the Manjushri Jambiyan wisdom Buddha and wisdom Buddha there's two kinds of refuge the causal refuge and resultant refuge and the causal refuge is the wisdom that we achieved and by taking refuge to the Manjushri or the wisdom Buddha we are doing a causal refuge or we achieving the great wisdoms by having the causal refuge and we the kinti dijab da jujab den ke chila chida
제킵스야 소소기라 비셔들이 또 마음원의 공부도 좀 원도 그 바양 소소 또 비셔들 제킵스야 제킵스야 때 돈비 연든 용사가 기위신이 하셨고 합니다 진짜 병 셰르피 모 셰르비 컨설트라고
Okay, and so resultant the refuge is the the Buddha, him or herself, like a Manjushri, is a resultant refuge. And by relying on the Manjushri or the Buddha, we generate or we achieve the wisdom we call the causal refuge. And so when we develop this very the practice or the wisdom and the wisdom and the love and it when we have this great benefits and also to in order to help others and so in our practice, when we practice, there's two things very important: self and others. By having this great wisdoms and or relying on that wisdoms or the wisdom Buddha, make sure we don't or we won't take any mistaken path. Of ourself as well as others, meaning as a self, we make sure we took the right path without any making mistake. And similarly, once we gain this, when we show the path toward others, make sure we don't show the other mistake path as well. And then we should practice of the listening contemplations and the meditations so whatever we collected the knowledge through the listening we should contemplate on that subjects or the knowledge and after that we practice we meditate on those knowledge and the practice so basically what we try to do that whether it is self and others showing right path or achieving the right path what we wish or making spirit and making prayer that may I able to become the admirable of the eyes of the Buddhas. So here, and second verse says, "The Manjushri, may your compassionate wisdom guide my lives along the path and lead me to the Dharma, that my practice may please the Buddhas."
Kadang ang susu ceteng mesti mich mesti nang berena. Oh, ngita susu mesti nang sampai susu yang puji jo yo kerja jo mampu yo de. Yang puji jo susu jadi orang jadi meten mau jadi. Kerja jo nda dan dan jadi mau nang yang puji jadi saya ceruk nda. Mesti de 통통 de yang puji de yang puji le 지던 가르진 마노라지는 시럽 당다 비고 내 샤와칸당 이제 마노라지도 지금 아니 또 마노라 지원도 랑진 강라에 판 도와줘 너무 와줘 뭐 놓기 뭐 어떤 지지네 근데 지나 랑진 강라 판 도와줘 샤와 된 제우들 때문에 소소나 되기 용어도 뭐좀발라 되기 용어를 대삼로 키트바이나 당치 키밀레고 배주 요르스
And what is mentioned and I explained earlier, we can use this in our life, whether we are a believer or non-believer, and because as a individuals, we have a good side and a bad side, and it is very important always to reflect on those activities that what we have done and see if we did something good in my life or end of the day, and then you kind of like rejoice and the inspire yourself that I will continue to do this kind of activities and practice in my life. If you find out I did something wrong and I was not supposed to do, and full of negativities and so on and so forth, and then you kind of purify those and make sure I'm not going to do this again, and I'm not going to fall into that kind of mistaken the path and so forth. And So basically, the self and others, and make sure that it's not making any harm self and others, and and whatever the result or the very seed that I accumulate, that make sure that it benefit myself and others as well.
다사와된 공사라 런기 지진 또비 람기는 시적세위 정위 탐귀기 루이 기문 바서신 여위던 바 영진지주 사다디 시작고스
Okay, so this is what we discussed the last Sunday, and now we will go to new verse on page 82. The first verse is empowered by the truth of these teachings with compassion and skillful means. May I dispel ignorance from the minds of all beings and hold the Dharma with constancy and devotion for many eons.
런기 지진 또비 람기는 저도 지름부치 그런 거배 갈리갑진 티스무고 숨진 삼나 통우적이 연든 수식으로 다 때라 안에 조어네 내세 조 지름부치 그런 거 송아들 람기 조 남봤음 무슨 송아들가 람기 조 남봤습니다 인종부 삼바 정치 셈 양득 있다 왔습니다 시험이지
So first, the line, the empowered by the truth of this teaching with compassion and skillful means. So here, the first line literally said the path that I realize accordingly, something like that. But what I hear is that here's Kishula's the comments is the Tsongkhapa did the great hardship and go through all the practices and such as the practice of listening, contemplations, and the meditations, and not only that he that very essence of the practice and essence of the teachings is manifested into his mind or the mind stream, and and then he gave the very importance the teachings, the three paths. So three paths, which is the renunciations, the bodhicitta, and right view.
시적세위 정위 탐귀기 전에 때 때 소소길라 또비 연대 요나라 때미 소소파 밀라 미길라바 호종제라 소소 창고이 리위신이나 창고가 조 가시고 가지는 조도 소소길라 당부 냠용도니 시고와 당부와 연는데 니와데 때라 안에 파쇼들라 사버시비 냥지되고요 냥지 당세비 냥지 전부자다 안에 시적 장위 시적 세비제 시적 보고 세비 장위 아니 탑키와 텔라파지 저와라 탑키와 텔리지나 전두시비 양long 사정 창도고요 진짜 디 장위 진짜 루이 김 봐서지 지던 뭐 그런 거 비슷 생각도 연대유와 주어만 연대유와 등에 비슷 니와스 양지등 된데가 학생 끝내 랑니 진짜 딱 맞아 파쇼텔라 때 탑키우고네 하는 게 비트 시요 말지 침볼로 때 많이 봐 기와스케와던 집에 탑키우고네 로이 기본 봐서시는 로 메이전 던전 말이 만비는다 네도 또 답제네 세무기 메시와도 세월 쇼지 때 마음을 머리고 만 세션으로 때 랑징 디디기는 섬지 내리고 맞지 지기 내리고 맞지 쇼로 참았대 성지 좀 된데 삼지면 비 연된 탐지 소수 냠스 용용으로서 텔라티니 길라기 용으로서 다 예외 담바 이런 지지스 성지 좀 된데 다바지네 성지 좀 된데 송도 담바세데 성지 좀 된데 막 송송 남비치들어 남비치들 그런 거 길라 똑바기 용서 맞는 진중진에 네트버리지 네버 쇼지그세 어때 때문에 겨지
So, and also the empowered by the truth of teachings with the compassion and skillfulness. So Geshe-la elaborate this this meaning here, and so the when we the talk about the knowledge and the knowledge and the realizations, so there are numbers of the knowledge. First of all, of course, we have to have a knowledge and the realizations, and not only that, we have to have a experience. Uh, and not only the experience is sufficient, and also we have a great compassions of giving the teachings. So this is all they call the knowledge of having the knowledge and the knowledge of the experience and the knowledge of the compassions. So this is all we need. So that's we call the great knowledge. And empowered by the truth of these teachings. So here, talk about the compassions and the methods. And with the great, when we give the teachings, of course, we have to have a we have to have empowerments or the powers or the great power with the the union of the compassions and the methods. Uh, that the Tsongkhapa have has this great knowledge. For example, not only the great realizations he uh, has, but also he has a great the the great intentions, the thought, or the great intention thoughts, and plus he had a great the method to give the teaching toward the sentient beings. So when we have when we have this kind of knowledge, the knowledge of having a knowledge and the knowledge of the the experience and the knowledge of the compassions with the great method or the wisdoms, then we can able to fulfill the others, the beings. And so Tsongkhapa at the end, he also made the wish and aspirations that may sentient beings gain the great experience and with the great knowledge of the method and the compassions, may they attend the Buddhahood by the teaching of the Dharma, and and that very the teaching may they be flourish and remain as the eons, as many as eons.
여기 담바 이런 전질수세 뜻이 뭐
有一点吧，
음.
urine zenjujis on
성지 담바 이런 든 증거나 가르나 하쇼텔라데 성지 좀 된데 송위 답이 치지오라 지 연든 자정 소소게라 끼고 그러지 뜻제 마도 jel라 끼니 냠는 지는 뜻파 성지 지금의 장의 잠발라 빼나 잔도를 판토를 지나면 정말 내기고 그러자 렌지 그랬나 성지 담바 이라 내고로 가서 신고진의 성지 담바 농발을 먹고 미 가정 먹고 때 판토요 말아 공회니 그 성지 좀 된데 그런 거 송소주 지 냠는지를 봤대 소소 냠는지 수 냠는지도 파쇼라 빼내서 뭐 판토 줘야나 오늘 좀 생길 때 판도 그렇게 선배 남아 선반남다 오늘 같이 그러다 마동아도 남진 기능 안 넘바인 아마 선반 넘버 시간은 근데 그런 그나 여고 요 말이지 그 남진 기능 말이지 담바 이런 전당도 될 수 있어.
Um, so the Geshe-la said, I didn't translate all the teaching he said. He said, make sure I said this again, and the last line of the first verse, and hold the dharma with constancy and devotions of for many years. So in order to remain and the constancy of the dharma or the devotions, it should be like this. For example, first of all, we gain the Buddha teachings. We receive the essence, the Buddha teachings, and which is also we call the knowledge. And by having the proper by receiving the proper knowledge of the Buddha or generating the Buddha teachings, and then have a great by having a great compassions and the method and the wisdom, we should provide others. Through that way, definitely the Buddha teachings will remain eons. Otherwise, if we always be biased and biasly, if we give teaching biasly, and if there's no benefits, and we won't see any benefits and any result, and because we're saying that this is my lineage, as I mentioned earlier, this is my lineage, or I'm Buddhist, your other religions, and ignore and criticize them. So this is not good. This is not a dharma. This is not real dharma. It is the called the self grasping or ignorance. If you do that, then the Buddha teaching won't remain. So in order to remain, first properly we receive the teachings, which is the knowledge, and have an experience. And plus, when we share and when we give with great compassions, with the method and the wisdom.
난 이제 담귀 기술다 탑 키위고 내네 그거 탑 키우고 동등이 농촌 주제
So so here to talk about the Geshe-la talk about the method. The speaking of methods, let me share you the story.
오늘 소보 농부 공부 준준지 공부 준준들라 다 저도 배 장동지네 준비 나그 삼을 다 장동지들에 다 지로등이 가당데 저 장동고스듯이 다 뒤나 다 전화 받는다 그것도 소고 다 아마 지주 들어와 되겠다 야다 뒤 공부도 지당나만 돌이 삼아리는 예 그것도 배미 냠는 말로 들지 당하지 파송의 실수 다 그것도 준비 가 연구 말씀 그런 것도 아저때 망보다 지었어요. 까준 듣고 말았어. 그거만 더 듣니 그 언로 듣니 쓰라 놓여 말았어. 근데 이따고 잡았더니 들어가지네. 이놈나 됐어. 리파서다 밀라 탐기 지리 지당dio 미치었어. 나와서. 코동 말았어. 코동네네 코파 소심지 지르다 나 그거 정말 조방암으로 장당지 레로 라키고 왔다. 그때 그런 냠대 공주 냠대 지네. 장대 통화됐어. 장동대 때 미스 정말 같은 거였어. 정말 같은 다 그런 그것도 그냥 같은 거 그런 게 통과됐었어. 장동됐어. 근데 그것도 자꾸더니 그 진짜 그것도 배 참고지네 지식을 다 그것도 정말 농사도 싶어서 집에서도 뜨니 그러지 알아. 딱 가서 진짜 지가 떠라고는 미국 같은 건데 딱 가서 또 맞지 가서 참지 이만큼씩만 통 가시 통 되게 되게 다마땅 가서 정말 통하지. 고제스. 다 담기기 제당 된데 미 감동 미와라 되니 지요나 미 국당을 또 담아도 뭔가도 배 정말 저같은 염는 바들이 차서 또 그거 그렇게 봐 썰었더니 정말
So let me give you the example using the method, great method or the skillful means. And once upon a time in Mongolia, there was a small monastery, and the monks who reside there, they all drink alcohol, and all the villagers, they they criticize and say bad thing about the monks and the monastery because they drink alcohol. And the abbot, one of the highest lama or the abbot, called the Zanabanza, Zanabanza, and and he thought, oh, this is not good, the villagers or the devotees are, saying bad about the monks and the monasteries, so we should change. It's not good. And then what the great abbot, what he did is that he sent one of the great practitioners, monk practitioner, and so the great practitioner, he did all he can, but due to the numbers of the monks, he's just the minor, like only one, and compared to the rest of the monks in the monastery, and he cannot convert them, or the make kind of like give up the alcohol, so they didn't listen him, and then the practitioner, he failed, and then the great abbot, and he find another persons who is the very the good with he has a great method and the skillfulness, and so he sent him to that monastery. At the very beginning, it was really difficult for him, um, because they don't listen. And then he used a different technique. And what he did, like he drink himself alcohol. And when he drink alcohol himself, and then other monks say, "Hey, he's drinking. He came here to us to quit alcohol, but he himself was drinking alcohol." And then later they become friends because they all are same now, right? They drink alcohol and they share and they become a close friend. And when they become a close friend, then he slowly, gently and politely suggests them, like, "Oh, we should change." People saying, our villagers saying bad thing about us and bad thing about monastery is not good for our reputations, and so on and so forth. And then after a while, and he also said, like, maybe why not, maybe we drink sometime we don't drink, instead of drink every day, maybe sometime we don't drink and sometime we drink. And then after a while, then eventually he able to make them convince and quit alcohol. And and finally, this in that monastery, none of monks drink alcohol, and that monastery become very pure monastery, and very good and pure monastery. So this shows that it is very important, have a method. Sometimes great wisdom and methods take a big role in order to fulfill others and the one's wishes.
맞은 로감으로
좋겠습니다.
수주주를 근데 담바른 진축배 마케바 협정 양벌 기도 쇼된 양지 전부 여러 조바이 판디 때인데 서울시 벌써 오지 다들 건것도 쓰던다 오르진.
And the second verse on page number 83, may the precious Dharma spread where it is needed, and flourish where it exists. That by my effort, and this treasure of happiness and aid can sustain all beings. So this is very similar to the previous verse.
이 돈도 가르쳤다 소수 이제 돈 전부 그런 게 길라 좀 연든 다다 샴지기 담비 연든 사기기 담바데 마치피 사자텔라 마오나 캬버 쇼치 캬브 손에 캬브니 냠송 사자텔라 영질 이월 쇼치 아니 텔라 마치바 캬버 시바도 냠발라 할소르 시발라 가르고르즈나 영지 쳔부 여러 쪽바이 다데 영지 쳔부 근데노 강은지 나가도 머시위 맘바 타자 등을 용사도 정점 머시완 중을 머시완데 머시 맘바 세용소 닐링 맘바티 동고 닐링 맘바티라 얌슨 노용소 알아서 참아 데키도 그 등에 만도 바로 아주 데키 용사때 알아서 원지 데키도 알아서 소소 치고 삼도 어디에 용사때 전이 용거 근데 전 같이 보인다 근데 때 영지 찍는데 소래 아니 때 많이 봐 아니 연점바 데키 용사때 알아서 닐링 맘바티 동네 알아서 단단 등이 용사 맞아 논치지네 하마고지네 용도서다 진짜 닐링 맘바티 하고 들어대 탑시 뉴도 성지 담바 쏘도 쳐다 더 영지 전부 끝내 여러 쪽바지 소소랑이 그 전라 배워서 받아 소소랑이 땅부 시상다 와 소소랑이 라니 지다지고 소소랑이 때문에 맞지어지 지네들이 미점발라 지에는 냥비로 된자 한 한디 때에서 버셔버서 판바당 담비고 판바당 그 전발라 판투용하다 전발라 대기 용도 왔는데 지금 때르터비고니다 서울시버서 주진 다가즈미 몸부선비 칠르는 어떤 신고진도 돌때 말해 이제나 펜토 용하다 데키든 토와 데리츠 상모 동네는 베트나 베도레 했다서 베트나 쇼치고 세대지
Um, so here the knowledge of the warm heart love and the compassions, the knowledge of warm heart love and compassions, and or the knowledge of the dharma or the teachings, uh, may they be flourish when may they be the may they be spread where it is needed and flourish where it exists exists where it exists. And in order to do that, of course, the first of all, we have to have experience, um, and then plus we have to have great compassions, and the in order to fulfill sentient beings' wish and achieving the happiness, and the happiness or the suffering, and the suffering, all the cause of suffering because of the not knowing or the ignorance. And that's important to understand the nature of reality. Once we understand the natural reality, we can dispel the things that we don't know or the ignorance. And so the again the speaking of the compassion, speaking of happiness, the happiness is all the happiness we gain is actually come from others. It's not come from ourselves, but it's come from others. So there's the so first of all that we have to understand the see the faults as a faults, and using the great the method and so forth. So the method and the wisdom is the very essential, and the one of the main the teaching of the Buddha to have a great method and wisdoms. And plus, when we have a great method and wisdom, and then we can fulfill that what is mentioned here. Um, the may the precious dharma spread where it is needed and flourish where it exist and so in order to do that, first of all, our ourself, we make sure we don't have any faults and wrongdoing, and then we can fulfill others.
당주 그건 되게 약스다. 곰 가르자서 곰 가는 저 동료다. 가는 참아 산도 당할 곰 당도 산수 소소 대원도 받을 저지 당라서 너 그래 세세나. 이제 등엔도 근데 왜 등만 넣어서 그래. 아주 저랑도 받는 정말 직발이 삼파 야채 something of some sort of cheaper dollars. Cheaper than other some of the some de wando badin do cheaper can some de wado da busu tun na tower shi the shamba da nazir tum some ma jo
So let's practice meditations for a couple minutes. When we practice meditations, it is very important to understand the meditative object and the subjects and contemplate and generate that very concentrations and the wish and so forth. For example, when we meditate on the great compassions, and how we can generate the great compassion by exempling yourself to others. Using our the very wish, comparing our very wish to others. For example, first of all, you ask a question yourself: Do I want happiness? And of course, your reply, ultimate reply, will be yes, I want happiness. And then second, you ask yourself again, like, do I want suffering? And of course, you will say, yeah, I don't want suffering. So that's the clear that yeah, I want suffering. I don't know want. I want suffering. Sorry, I want happiness. I don't want suffering, and then you ask the same kind of questions toward others. Visually, you can ask questions that do other wants happiness that I wish, and of course, like yeah, they have a same wish to want to be happy and doesn't want suffering. And in that way, we all are same, wishing happiness and free from suffering. And through that way, we can develop or generate the great compassions toward others by knowing that in a very the achieving the happiness and overcoming suffering, we all are same. And compassion is the wishing sentient beings free from suffering and the causes of suffering, which is called the compassions. And wishing sentient beings never separate from joyful bliss, we call this a love. And during the meditations, you meditate on compassions and loving kindness.
동료 그러자. 정말 직발이 서로 동료 잡고.
You know, and when you visualize that way, and you can construct or develop the mind of equanimity. This is the basic. This is important at the beginning, and by thinking that way, and that we all are same, and we all are share the same wish. In that way, we all are equal. And then it will kind of generate the very ground of the equanimity mind.
That's what he
Any questions?
공통이 없어라. 통통질 검질수 통통질이 semna samlut sawujin dambujin 좋아동지와 되나 아니 뭐 배야리 도서워.
So them
물바가좀 그래 물바 일라좀 주데 semna sawujin 되나 dambujin 되나 semna 좋아워.
It's always good to practice meditations short period of time, and within the short period of time, make sure you have first of all you have a meditative objects. Once you have the meditative object, make sure it is clear, steady, and with the joyfulness. Yes.
So if I can formulate this thought real quick. So I heard a couple things that I'd like some clarification on. So I understand the importance of studying with different teachers and different schools. Geshe-la started out talking about that, and Hoslam Kappa studied with many different teachers, and that it is self-clinging to be biased. And yet, at another point, he also mentioned the importance of like right views, of not having wrong views. So I'm hearing that there's an importance of being discerning about the views that you hold, and the importance of hearing, meditating. What are the three? I'm so bad. You think that all these notes I take, I remember. Contemplation. Thank you. And so the importance of not being biased and self-clinging, and yet also needing to have discernment and making sure you're not entertaining wrong views. And there's something, I don't know if I'm expressing right, but I feel like there's something in between there, and there's am I making any sense?
Can I, not to interrupt or anything, I'm just gonna piggyback off, and I just wanted to clarify too, because I think I know where she's trying to get.
Please help.
Is the idea of everything of having no reversion or bias against other views in Buddhism, especially when it comes to the forming schools and different lineage lines, and whether or not different religious points of view too. Is that part of the Rinne practice?
The movie the one Mapuche king one Mapuche song was the bena the also the that zonghapa is song na that the lujula dewa na ni chulu mela ni tian do ta lama da me tian do ta da han shin king gi one is song the ani the kuno the tawa ya go ta ni ani the colons the choshi chiame bada the much songs the kogi digital that todo da onto the choshi me konita that chulu na me tempo was 네.
노르도 디션은 저거 소수 자동지냐 그 말이지. 자동지 당나 자동제데 머리비로 끝내는 거 안에 착바지나 디파쇼 부수속에 균 자동 통그 말이. 당화제나 그 질 뜻지할 센스 삼도나 파쇼고 연는지가 통도 때문에 자동 매화지. 저라 동용우지니 근데 뭐에 일이 파장이 소소로 때 변동인데 저는 좀 냉방만 맞 잡을 거랬어. 소리는 자동 없어. 자동은 때 일고만 좋던 자동 매워지네 때 아니 좀 라만 된 있나 질긴 된 있나래 오인일 가르친 된 거는 독분된 거는 자동 매워는데 좀 일고만 또 그랬어. 지름 부시가 라마 때문에 몽보 때문에 라마 때문에 통제 건강 먼저 때때요 막 그런 거에 동고 딱시 땅 어디다 연든 라만들 때는 연든데 콜라 연든 때때때 경지 때때 니와든 득세 때 드니 딱시 땅 때요 막 잘 줄는 로들에 몽보 많았어요. 라마 야던 게 없어.
Yeah, yeah, I've said many things earlier, and but to conclude very simply, here's the what I want to say. If I briefly explain the having no attachments and aversions, and that is what I'm trying to say. Having no aversions and attachments. The and know the motivations of ignorance, the motivations that being they're driven by the ignorance. So make sure that we don't have this, and because so. And also plus no bias. When we have a bias, then and there's attachments and aversions, and there's a bad motivations driven by the ignorance and so forth. So what I'm trying to say is that have unbiasedly and investigate unbiasedly investigate without the involve or without having attachments and aversions, and once we free from our bias and of course we will free from attachment and aversions, then we will have great motivations and so on and so forth, and furthermore we can able to see the reality whatever is or exists in front of us. Otherwise, if we are biased and involved with attachments and aversions, then we cannot able to see and we cannot able to choose. So what I'm trying to say is without the bias and without attachment aversions, then you investigate, and then when you investigate, you can find, you can achieve or receive the truth of the nature of the events or the individuals and so on and so forth. Whether you are looking for master or school or lineage or maybe even maybe friends, friends you can find as you wish, and the otherwise the when I say the taking different masters or the lineage, and the Tibetan we call the Chulu Rime, and doesn't mean that Tsongkhapa didn't investigate. He just go out and take any master or any lineage. He first of all he investigate that, make sure that lineage or the master has a qualified knowledge, is him or her as a qualified teacher. Once he find that, then he makes sure that they have a great compassions, the knowledge of compassions and the knowledge of experience. Once he find out everything, then he took the many masters. So in his story, it said that he took 108 master.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
And I've got to kind of piggyback this, but
I asked Minnie on Ricochet a few weeks ago because I found a book by Kalu Ricochet, who is Cognitive, and I just was talking to him about it. And being new, I mean, if I consider myself a beginner, he suggested that I stay with His Holiness because my mind is not, stay with one and really study that instead of being here, because I also was studying the Zen thing. And, so what's happening is that, you're in so many different directions and your mind not being as steady as, as you would like. But I thought that was really good advice because it is true. There are certain subtle differences, but they're enough that so he suggested just stay with this, read those books and really understand each book thoroughly.
Right.
Which
And he's written so many.
he's throwing that out there.
Right, how was it?
So,
What I find interesting and what I'm hearing is the difference. So because of our minds and the way they work, we tend to have biases, and as things as big as racism, sexism, and stereotypes about certain people. So to avoid those, to see them and avoid them, and avoid judgment that would create distance or friction between another religion or another person because of preconceived notions in our mind and because of the discursive thought and the labels that we put on things. And there's this subtle difference between that judgment versus investigation with an open mind, and then therefore discerning, valid teachers, right views versus wrong views, and such.
잠깐 지나더라. 그래서 그 내무가지는 남기식으로 소소 로 담보지는 소소 녀던 거. 소소가 더서 징지로 당고 말. 근데 상토지는 소소 도와 용선의 미디어 탐박 에보 길모르는 그런 클린징 말. 저도 아무 용어 통다. tamato kyoti nyonga mato na mizu kirmori zi mi nigi simu shani kyona ti jisi nangni lo tabu nga changu tenso soso tangbo soso kong jangi na soso tani nyonga tobu tata uzi nyonga tobu songne tani lama tingi na lama tingi pasu kongsa tingi jidang li tangdo chotang korong shepa tang samba tang korong jia nangma chama chang bukde tashi tang tabu uzi tiga nga zu kongsa robo nangsa tangna tashi tang tang rin chama tangli shi zini 르는 참아 동시 고 방송되기 칠록 남들 다 남바다 즈등 능록고 삼로 동동 실록 남바다 무기다 와지 하고 그래 능록고 그놈도 삼로 동동 간다는 그 남사하고 맞지 이런 지고 이런 지네 도르지나 그런 거 쓰는 거 그냥 바꿔자다 봐 또는 가짜라 되네요 그런 삼무까지 되던 거 쓰던 거 이렇게 쫓도 되나 르는 참아 동시 쓰는 남도 나요다 우리 또 참아 떨리시도 스틸레 다시 당고나 당보텔라 동대진이 되게까지 남성만 된 거예요 말 그런 거 아니 그런 것도 선나 세당 참아 그런 게 없는 그래서 때당 따뜻한 원이 좀 찾은 거 남아지게 땅 하나 때는 물로와를 선나 근데 남아 때는 약고 요랬어 그런 거는 때문에 된 거지 요새 아직 땅다 키워다 됐다 좋은 말 되는 거랑 남아 근정도 어떻게 되세요
So yeah, and thank you for all of your comments and everything. Yeah, so we can talk more about this, and I think for me it is like I always share to others and myself. I also apply the same kind of the same kind of approach. For example, it is very important us to have a realizations, the great great realizations. Once in order to kind of determine whether determines truly and honestly, and also the which is appropriate for your one's lifestyle with full of positive and so forth is very important. First of all, we have to experience that things and events, and which is, I think, very important. For example, like an apple. If someone never had an apple, and then when he met someone and he or she will mention that, oh, an apple, the taste of the apple is sour, and then you will think, oh, it's sour. And then after a while, if someone said, no, 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 an apple taste is not sour, it's sweet, then you confuse. We confuse, oh, it is sour or sweet. But if you go investigate, find the tree and apple, you eat it, then you know, oh, I know it. Now no one can fool me. I know it. I investigate. I thoroughly investigate and I find out the taste of an apple. Uh, so that's why it is important that if we investigate and experience, and then we can, once we determine that, that will be very firm determinations. And because every the phenomena, one could tell the by the the by its sign and its sign and the natural. For example, when we look at the someone, we could tell the very small amount the person's the characteristic. They have two eyes and a nose and or so on and so forth. But if we really want to know the real character of the individuals, or the real colors inside of their individuals, or their intentions and motivations, we have to spend time with them, right? We have to spend time with them, with not without falling into this negative mind, such as attachments, aversions. We just be with them and investigate. Then at the end, we know that the true nature of that individuals, whether he or she is good persons or bad persons. Similarly, like when we finding the master, or even finding the friend, or the whatever we want to have in our life, doesn't mean you have to accept by knowing their name or so on and so forth. But first of all, we spend time with them and find out their real, and make sure they have authentic knowledge, they have a great experience, and great compassions, and so on and so forth. And then we can took them as a friend, or as a master, or even like anything you want to have in your life. And I don't know you. For me, it's like this. I want to. For me, like when I heard something, oh, some great the master or giving teachings or the initiation, I don't go right away. I investigate where it come from, what lineage, what kind of education. Is he or she have great knowledge or great compassions and great experience, and then I'll decide. And otherwise, I just go after whatever I heard the news or the and so.
Yeah, 다음은
Okay.
Thank you.
그렇죠. 오늘 맞아. 지만 네 매일 보시 참 부르는 그렇지.
네.
정말
뭐 보이십니다.
뭐지 막 교통
네. Okay. So thank you very much, everyone. The Venerable Mingyur Rinpoche in his retreat, and soon he will finish his retreat, and you can see him at his class.
Thank you, Geshe. Thank you, Tempa.
If you would like to make a donation for this teaching, you may do that by calling 812-336-6807 or by emailing the center at tmbcc.kcl@gmail.com. For those of you online, for those of you here in the temple, it would be greatly appreciated by the monks in the monastery if you could make a donation. And if you cannot do so, just a simple prayer is fine. All right, thank you.
We'll say the dedications, numbering prayer on page number 80.
Zhe
ga xie jiang zu qiu gen qiang zhu ru ji bao de zhang wei la ma ren bo ji da su ni ge ba mi den ju la ga de jian bo go ne ji song de ku song du jie mu zhuo zang du sui chang jiu sen jiu ren bo ji ma jie ba na jie 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 wa yang ba me ba yang gong ne gong de be wer shuo gang re ra wei gu wei xian gang de ben dang de wa ma le zhong wei ne jia re zhen wa den zhen yang zu yi xia bie sen de ba de den zhe xie zhang ba ma wu zhi de jian ba dang geng de zang bo li yang de xian de de da geng jie jie si da luo jiang ye wo de da tam jie rao de wo de song sha bie ya wo tam jie jiang我当来就得我把的，大学音乐早晚的跟讲，上播就是让的我闻见，变得中的单把的上去，但真就他们这个工作。有见光老的这种为你上街单把当的解决机，才让更多要我从光里，当作新年我是这边的，要为我边浪上的夜里，给些照样都把马子。Thank you.